student, in a public university, I'm really concerned about, what's being taught and the predominant, the ideologies and doctrines, the Marxism, the behaviorism, the materialism, the internationalism. You get this drilled into in your sociology classes, economic classes. Is there an organization of intellectuals and academics, industrialists that is on par with the secret societies of like the Cecil Rhodes? Is there an organization that people like me can join to actively oppose these groups and kind of cultivate the free human spirit? I mean, that's what it's all about in the end, isn't it?
Well, I'm happy to say that there is. And in fact, I've had a lot to do with the creation of it. It's called Freedom Force International.
Okay.
We've studied the structure and the tactics of these organizations a lot. And there are many things within it that you have to reject. I mean, the fact that their goal is literally the enslavement of mankind, of course, they wouldn't say it that way. They would say that their goal is the
social justice,
unification,
fairness
of mankind for the benefit of mankind. But so we couldn't endorse this kind of conformity that they're trying to enforce on the world. We couldn't endorse the secrecy and the deceit that they use. But there's a lot that we can endorse in terms of the organizational structure and the methods by which they work. For example, they have learned a long time ago that the best way to control large groups of people is not one-on-one, but by putting their people at the tops of organizations to which the masses belong. And the more important the organization is for membership, then the more important it is to them to make sure that their people are at the top. We're talking about political parties, labor unions, church organizations, the mass media, and so forth. If you look at the tops of these organizations, which they call the power centers of society, they're always in the hands of these dedicated collectivists of one variety or another. They may oppose each other because they differ in style, or they might think of themselves as leftist versus rightist or something like that. But they're all collectivists. So we took the cue from that. We know that it's our turn now to go into these power centers of society and to recapture them one by one, to put people in there who have the vision of liberty and freedom, who are not there with an axe to grind for personal gain or anything like that, or especially not for control over other human beings.
I fought in a war,
Wave that
and
flag.
I left my friends behind me to go looking for the enemy, and it wasn't very long
Put it on your bumper.
before I would stand with another boy in front of me, and a corpse that just fell into me, with the bullets flying round. And I reminded myself of the words you said when we were getting on, and I bet you're making shells back home for a steady boy to wear round his neck. Well, it won't hurt to think of you, as if you're waiting for this letter to arrive, because I'll be here quite a while. I fought in a war, and I left my friends behind me to go looking for the enemy, and it wasn't very long before I found out that the sickness there ahead of me went beyond the bed-sit infamy of a decade gone before. I reminded myself of the words you said when we were getting on, and I bet you're making shells back home for a steady man to wear round his neck. Well, I wanted to think of you, as if you're waiting for this letter to arrive, because I'll be here quite a while. see hope, I can't see light. I reminded myself of the looks you gave when we were not getting on. I bet you're making shells back home for a steady man to work. And it's not pulling one to think of you, as if you're waiting for this letter to arrive, because I'll be here quite a while.
We sit and watch umbrellas fly. I'm trying to keep my newspaper dry. I hear myself say, my boat's leaving now, so we shake hands and cry. Now I must wave goodbye, wave goodbye, wave goodbye, wave goodbye, wave goodbye. You know, I don't want to cry again. I'll never see your face again. I don't want to cry again. We leave to the goodbyes. I'll come to